Hey, this is Scott Townsend, and I'm glad to announce that we've got two new subscribers to the show, Pop's Daylight Donuts and Castafly Outdoor Adventures. The first one, Pop's Daylight Donuts, man, they've got the best tasting donuts, sausage wraps, pastries in Northeast Oklahoma. And also, if you'll tell the staff there, hey, Scott Townsend said to give me a large spicy pig, they'll give you a free large spicy sausage wrap. But you have to tell them Scott Townsend sent you. So tell them, hey, Scott Townsend told me to tell you to give me a large spicy pig. So there's the offer. There's the call to action. So go to Pop's Daylight Donuts. Say hi to Mark for me. And go to Pop's Daylight Donuts and get you some. The other sponsor is Castafly Outdoor Adventures.
Adventure. That's where it begins. We look to create and document our moments in time while embracing the majestic wonder and beauty of the great outdoors. Our quest is to explore the back roads of the Ozarks, camping, fishing, and just getting lost. Refresh your spirit and join us on our next adventure.
Paul and his crew invite you to subscribe to the Castafly Outdoor Adventures YouTube channel.
Welcome to the Scott Townsend Show, brought to you by Dietzo Man Productions.
Hey, this is Scott Townsend. You're watching and listening to the Scott Townsend Show, and today I have with me super cool guys, probably got the best job in the world. I don't know, we'll see about that. Renner Vaughn, Vice President of Sales for Cyberhawk. Renner, how's it going?
It's great, Scott. Good to see you. Good to be here. And I guess today's the shortest day of the year, isn't it?
Winter solstice.
Yeah. I noticed the sunrise here this morning. I'm still in every day. Get up at about 5:30 or 6 and get right to work because a lot of our company is in the UK, and they're as soon as I wake up, it's it's messages and calls and requests and things like that. So I tried to sleep in this morning, being kind of the first day of the Christmas vacation week, and just didn't work. Just popped right up. So been going for 3 or more hours already here on the West Coast.
Wow. So I introduced you as the guy that has the coolest job in the world, Renner, Vice President of Sales with Cyberhawk. I mentioned that, and you basically fly drones for a living. Is that right? Did I get that right?
Well, I'm not cool enough to fly the drones myself. We have a stable, a kind of a force of about 36 of the world's best pilots, and they're the ones who go out to the dangerous places and the tough flying environments and get it done for us. So every once in a while I get to fly a drone, but these days I'm just kind of sitting in the background and arranging all the stuff to get done. And I end up posting a lot of our pictures from the team who are out flying wind turbines and on oil and gas rigs and flying transmission towers for utilities. And so, every once in a while they let me out in the field, but especially this year, I haven't been able to get out as much as possible, as much as I wanted to, at least.
So I imagine your drones are maybe something like this, or that's just a joke, really. Can you see it?
They are
a little bit more involved.
Yeah,
huh?
They're similar. They do have a little bit more. They've got usually a pretty expensive camera hanging off of them, and that's most of the reason that we put them up in the air, is to get better shots at things that people actually care about. And
right.
They're a lot of times the teams are flying drones in suboptimal conditions, and the wind might be blowing too hard, or the light might not be very good, or they're crunch time because the customer's looking over their shoulder and saying, can you get all the shots in time? We need to get out of here, or we need to make room for the team. They take all kinds of different shapes and sizes. We even got ones got a flexible cage around it, so it kind of bounces inside like a ball. We can put it inside of a cargo tank and in a pressure vessel or steel things, and it doesn't matter if it hits the wall or anything. The drone kind of flexes and bounces itself around, and that's important for the confined spaces. But people, they see the drone and they're thinking, it kind of looks something like out of a sci-fi movie. It's a bit odd shaped, taking a drone that kind of looks like a quadcopter and then turning it into a sort of a flying robot that goes into places where people shouldn't be going.
So, that's pretty interesting. I was doing my research into this topic.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't realize how much visual inspection there needs to be for companies' assets. And I guess before drones, I guess it was people. I didn't realize people were having to crawl up cell towers and climb up into electric lines and just all these weird, scary, very high places.
Yeah.
So that's a visual. The visual inspection is just the need for that is amazing to me.
Yeah, and it's a dangerous game. As you pointed out, the alternative was, you either hang someone off of the top of a high structure with the rope, and they've got cameras and lots of rigging to deal with, and then there's insurance liability to worry about, and then just those folks in harm's way day after day and job after job. Or then you could build scaffolding, which is expensive and also puts people at height and is has worked well for many decades and maybe centuries, but now we can put a fine camera closer to the asset and get a higher quality piece of data from it, and we do it in a fraction of the time and a fraction of the cost is really what else it comes down to. So if you've got safety, time saving, and cost, hard for asset owners to turn that down. It's a no-brainer these days, and I think we've gotten past the point of experimentation for a lot of the parts of the energy sector, and they're into the mass adoption phase. And we kept saying that. We said that 2 years ago, and so it's been slower, I think, than we thought it would have been 2 years ago. So seeing drones just being flown every day, all day by all sorts of different folks in the critical infrastructure areas of the economy, but it's happening. It's been a road of I think people understanding that once you start flying drones, it doesn't just solve all the problems. You kind of create some new ones for yourselves. Like, for instance, you've got loads of data to deal with now. And so people are, well, I got drones out there. They take really good pictures or they shoot great video. And my problem now is that I've got tons of video and nobody wants to go back and necessarily just look through all that. So.
Right. So what's one of the more interesting, dangerous, or however you want to call it, what's some of the more interesting situations you guys have been in with your drones?
Well, recently we were asked to do an inspection for a nuclear plant. So we've gotten some interest from the nuclear sector over the past few years, and nuclear is one of those things that, as you probably know, it's so heavily regulated. And it's a very slow-moving, conservative industry in that they don't really have much of a change the way they do things unless it's a sea change, unless it's a big difference in how they do things. And they're also, a lot of them are built in the same era, in the 60s and 70s, and the infrastructure that is protecting those plants is now starting to all decay to a point where they have to renew their operating licenses. And a lot of them are thinking, well, I've got cooling towers and concrete structures, lots of containment areas that I just don't know the condition of those pieces of external walls. And so we got asked to do over, 200,000 square feet of external wall around reactor buildings and containment structures for a plant in Michigan.
How many hours are you looking for from a pilot when you're looking to have someone fly your drones? What's a good ballpark?
So
for hours?
We actually have it's a series of levels. at Cyberhawk. So we kind of created our own internal training academy for pilots, because anybody who's into drones will tell you that, the going out and taking a test and passing the FAA certification is the first step. It's really it's like taking the written test for driving school and not ever having gotten in the car and done your driving test. And for some reason the FAA doesn't need you to pass a flying test, and maybe that's because they just can't do it. I can imagine having centers everywhere with people staffed to observe flyers and get their license, if you will, to fly drones. So if you only have to take a really simple multiple choice test, you get set loose out there in the rest of the field with all the drone flyers, and it means that you could be just have passed your test and never set up a drone in your life, but you have a commercial legal means to fly it. But we have a school that gets you through up to about 500 hours before we put you into a situation where you would go into a nuclear facility or offshore onto an oil and gas platform in the Gulf of Mexico, for instance. Mm-hmm. So there's 4 levels in Cyberhawk, and the level 1 and 2 pilots are the ones we bring in, and we start them out on the electric poles. We start them out on distribution, just flying and doing a very simple, not too far from the ground and a very contained environment. And they just, they work their way up through the ranks. We have a really cool flying facility in the UK where it's the world's largest indoor climbing gym. And it's built out of a rock quarry that they covered over. And so the teams, they take that cage drone that I was talking about, and they learn to fly that inside of a climbing where they can bounce off the walls and not worry about damaging it or hurting anybody. So and they have written tests all the way through it. So we kind of, because we're selling the expertise of our pilots, and we're putting, them into a commercial environment where there are not just, dangers aviation wise, but hazardous locations and exposure, to gases and nuclear contamination and radiation and things like that. The last thing they want to be worried about is, am I going to be able to safely navigate this drone? They need to be focused on the job at hand. And it is a large difference from, just getting your FAA certification to the kind of the level for Cyberhawk pilot. You might be one of the most elite in the world when it comes to flying drones, especially for visual inspection. And I think I've always got respect for the guys who fly for film and TV. You've got that's another level of the high skills that I would consider in the same class as some of our pilots that are level 4s. Mm-hmm. Is some of these amazing shots that you see in film and TV today. I can't stop seeing shots now. Used to you'd see an aerial shot and you're like, okay, that was probably an expensive helicopter or airplane ride they had to put together. But now they've got crews that drones are there all the time. So if they need an aerial shot, the crane and the boom is almost only if we absolutely need it, but we put the drone in the air first, see if we can get the angle. So hats off to them too. They are truly some of the best.
I know we're coming up to the 11:30 here. One last question. I saw this the other day, and I wonder how true this is, how real this is. Amazon and drones. You keep hearing about packages are going to be delivered by drones. What's the future of drones in our day-to-day life? Do you think we're really going to be getting packages with from drones? Or
that's a good one. Yeah. There's so much packed into that question, Scott. Because and it's not just the ability. I know that Amazon will have and does have the technology to do it. They know where you live. They know they have the drones that can carry stuff a certain weight limit. Some of the stuff that people need to think about though is that when you fly quadcopter drones, those rotor blades make noise, right? Yeah. And so if you've got hundreds of moving around your neighborhood, you're going to hear that. It's like everybody's got their lawnmower on at once. You can. So it's how do you properly kind of conduct traffic when would there be a flying lane for delivery drones that is only allowed so they stay on a specific track coming through an area. The good thing is that they're all smart enough and they all communicate now. So they're sending out beacons and squawking at each other like airplanes do. And so there would be a way to manage them automatically in the air, but once that drone descends below the tree line into a neighborhood, I don't care how smart the drone is. There's considerations that, this thing is not landing on your lawn, but it's dropping something off. And so there will be some interesting, just practical considerations. What if you're backing out of the driveway when the drone decides to drop off your package? And there's, I guess the choreography of a drone entering into your property space and dropping off a package. There's a lot of considerations to that, just beyond the tech, but the experiments have been done, the tests. I mean, a drone can deliver a package. You'd hear the buzz outside, and maybe your phone would light up and say the drone's close. So
Right.
go outside and watch it come in. So there's, just like anything else, we have to get used to a different style of living and interaction with tech. So it's kind of a fun thing to think about, right? It's gone from sci-fi to real in the last few years. But yeah, the FAA I think the FAA is going to clear it. I think we're not going to have any regulatory hurdles. But I think about just the practical and people aspects of it. Like, how's that going to be? It's fun.
Yeah. That's so cool to think about. Well, Renner, thanks for your time. Thanks for lending your expertise and the information, kind of giving us an inside behind the scenes look at drone technology and how you guys are using it. And hope things go well for you this next year.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. Same to you, and good luck on the podcast. I'll have to tune in and be a subscriber and keep up with you that way.
Heck yeah. Well, for Renner Vaughn, this is Scott Townsend. Thanks for watching and listening to The Scott Townsend Show. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you later.
The Scott Townsend Show is a Dietzo Man production. For more episodes, visit the Scott Townsend Show YouTube channel, listen on Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.